The United States appears poised to carry out an imminent strike against Iran. This involves not only attacking the country generally, but specifically targeting Iran's supreme leader. Moves on the ground are raising alarm bells, and statements are currently being issued within Iran in anticipation of such an attack. Let's examine the past several days. The USS Abraham Lincoln is en route from the South China Sea to the Middle East. However, in the last 24 hours, it has done something suspicious. It shut off its AIS transponder. The Automatic Identification System, AIS, is required to identify a ship, including its speed, position, and course. Shutting it down indicates they plan to act without being tracked. Details about the USS Abraham Lincoln's movements are available online, and we know it has been in transit for some time. From an Iranian perspective, it is reported that they have been, and remain, prepared. What is different now is the U.S. taking action aimed at obscuring their operations. They could carry out the strike before arriving on station. During the previous strike the U.S. participated in, the 12-day war in June 2025, they gave few indications of where the attack would originate, utilizing multiple launch locations. This current situation follows days of Donald Trump claiming de-escalation and attempting a more peaceful rhetoric. However, he also stated that Iran's supreme leader is a sick man who needs to go. This raised alarm bells, with many viewing it as a sign that the U.S. administration is indeed planning a strike, potentially an assassination attempt against the supreme leader. Iran has repeatedly warned against targeting the supreme leader. One Iranian leader stated that if a hand of aggression is extended toward their leader, they will not only cut off the hand but set fire to their world. General Abul Fazl Shikari, spokesman for the Iranian armed forces, reiterated this, saying, "We will respond to the aggression by setting the world ablaze against you." What does that mean? We have seen multiple statements, from both inside and outside Iran, indicating that should the U.S. assassinate the supreme leader, they will declare a global struggle against America. They threaten to target U.S. interests linked to any attack against Iran everywhere. The U.S. seems to have no boundaries currently, escalating tensions globally. From an Iranian perspective, they know assassination attempts are possible. During the 12-day war, there were attempts on the lives of the president and the leader of the Iranian parliament. There were also reports of an attempt against the supreme leader, noting that multiple extra safety measures were implemented to protect him. Reports at the time indicated these high-ranking figures survived Israeli attacks. Currently, Israel officially is not stating they will participate. In fact, there were reports that Benjamin Netanyahu suggested the U.S. delay the attack because Israel is not yet sufficiently prepared. Significant information was released by Avigdor Lieberman, a former ally of Netanyahu and former Israeli defense minister. He stated that during the 12-day war, Iran targeted strategic locations and destroyed substantial information, evidence, and research accumulated by Israel over decades. He argues that Israel is unprepared, citing 3 million people without adequate shelter and many with no protection at all. He essentially admits that Israel could not tolerate a sustained Iranian attack, noting the advancement of Iran's missiles and their ability to penetrate the layered defenses Israel boasts about. Desperate measures are also being taken by Reza Pahlavi, referred to as the Clown Prince by the speaker, who is calling for attacks. In a recent interview, he essentially begged for the United States or Israel to attack, suggesting precision strikes are needed to aid regime change efforts. He frames internal dissenters as waiting for the cavalry in the form of foreign strikes. Although Donald Trump pretends de-escalation is occurring, his projected statements differ from his likely intent. While his rhetoric has softened slightly, his statement that Iran's supreme leader has to go reveals significant information about U.S. motives. So, what is Iran doing to monitor U.S. moves and counter this potential attack? An Iranian bulk carrier, the Arvan, sailed from Singapore on January 18th. It has been following the same route as the USS Abraham Lincoln toward the Middle East. Although the U.S. shut down the carrier group's AIS transponders, Iran is still attempting to track its movement. While they won't get every detail, the Iranian side is using multiple methods to gather as much information as possible before a strike occurs. Internally, they have taken significant defensive measures, including electronic warfare systems. Iran has been constantly preparing for an attack from both the US and Israel. Furthermore, there are unconfirmed reports that in the past 3 days, over 13 cargo flights have arrived in Iran from China. This is a substantial amount. Previously, we might see 1 or 2 planes from Belarus, Russia, or China, but this volume is significant. It indicates that the Chinese may have information regarding the planned US attack. They are likely looking at Trump's actions on the ground rather than relying on his statements. Russia and China have been warning the world about US actions. The US is now threatening to occupy Greenland, a European territory. Trump is continuously threatening Greenland and deploying assets there. China has even told him not to use their name to justify threats against sovereign states. Everyone sees what the US is doing. In many cases, U.S. allies are paying the price for their complicity in what is described as American genocide in Gaza. They justified actions against the Palestinian people, thinking it wouldn't affect them. But as we have said, if you justify such acts anywhere, you justify them everywhere. The U.S. administration and its associates will justify aggression against anyone should it suit their needs. Trump's administration is now actively taking these measures. The fact that China is sending increased cargo to Iran suggests an imminent U.S. attack, potentially within hours. The United States does not go into stealth mode without a reason. The Trump administration has been threatening Iran for a long time. Comparing this period to June 2025, there is a similar pattern in the rhetoric used by the regime: sweet talk, negotiations, mixed messages of de-escalation and escalation, and ambiguity. Yet, on the ground, they were preparing. They knew an attack was coming, participated in it, and changed their tone immediately after Israeli strikes began. This time, the difference is that the United States, rather than Israel, will likely initiate the strikes. Whether Israel participates later remains open to various possibilities. Iran has the option not to wait for Israel to attack before striking Israel itself. They view Israel as the U.S. proxy in the region and the key problem. They won't necessarily refrain from attacking just because Israel claims to be unprepared. That's not how it works. From an Israeli perspective, attacking Iran is a matter of when, not if. However, their ideal situation is to have the United States fight the war they have lobbied for over the past 4 decades. They hope to stay out of the immediate picture and avoid Iranian retaliation once the U.S. strike begins.